Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can tell, I have revamped and remodeled my background a little bit. This wake up and makeup sign I got on Etsy a while ago, like back in the summer. I knew I wanted to incorporate it somehow into my beauty space. I decided to make it a poster and put it on the backdrop. And then this hooray for today sign I got at a party store, or like the papery store, and I know that I totally need to iron it, but I don't know where my iron is right now, so it's just wrinkled for now. Anyways, the topic on today's agenda is facial hair. I feel like a lot of girls and women are embarrassed to talk about this topic. It seems a little taboo, or like women don't want to admit that they have facial hair. But the fact is that 99% of us have facial hair in some shape or form. Actually, probably like 100% of us, huh? Because everybody has eyebrows. So I'm here to discuss the types of facial hair removal that are out there and the types that I've tried and what has and hasn't worked for me, the pros and cons of everything I've tried. So let's get to it. Quick disclaimer, because I know that there are some really young girls that watch my videos. I'm not saying that you need to go out and go get your hair removed everywhere. If you're fine with it and you've had no problems with it, then just leave it be. Honestly, you do not need to do this. This is not something necessary. I just thought that if somebody was curious about this topic or wanted to do this, that I would provide some information on what worked and didn't work for me. Also, before we get into this, I do want to talk about some myths associated with facial hair removal or just body hair removal in general. Myth number one, a lot of people believe that if they shave or get rid of hair, that it's gonna grow back really thick and a lot darker, and like you're gonna have a beard or a mustache. I just want to say that that's not completely accurate. Obviously, I'm not an expert, but from my own experience and from what I've read up on the topic, I'm gonna just give you guys the information that I learned. So basically, depending on the method you're using, there's a couple different things that can happen. So if you have light hair, most of the time it's not gonna grow back darker. One possibility that can happen is if your hair is slightly darker at the root, but your hair is not gonna just magically change color and become black. There are, of course, exceptions to this when it comes to like body hair, depending on the area that just tends to grow back thicker hair, such as like armpits, the little bikini area, stuff like that. But overall, your body keeps growing the same type of hair. Myth number two is that they're gonna grow more hair if they shave in the spot. What makes people think that is when your hair is naturally growing, it has a tapered end, and every hair is growing at its own pace in different lengths. When you shave your hair, what happens is your hair is cut at a blunt end at the surface of your skin, and then when it grows out, they're all growing out at the same length and they have a blunt end basically. So that's why they might not feel as smooth and they feel a little bit sharper, and they're all growing out at the same time, and that's why it might seem like you're growing more hair, but it's the same amount of hair. You're not creating new hair follicles. So that's just the two main myths that I've heard, and once we get into the different methods of hair removal, I will talk about what hair myths are affected by each one. So the first method of hair removal I used was wax strips. They sell facial hair wax strips at the store. A lot of people use them to clean up their eyebrows or do the sideburns or the top lip situation. I personally used it for sideburns. I don't have like black sideburns going down, but like I said, I had peach fuzz kind of hair that would just grow along all the way down. So I took a facial wax strip and I decided to wax it off. First con of wax strips, they're painful. Second con is if you don't wax your entire face, you're going to have a strip. And what I mean by that is I waxed where my sideburns were, and I had a visible, very visible line of where the hair ended and where it began. So basically, even when I applied makeup, you could see the line on my face from where I waxed. I never did that again. The next method I learned was shaving, and no, it's not with a big men's razor. Little razors at the store, they're marketed as like eyebrow razors where you can clean up underneath, but you can use them all over the face. And basically what you do with these, they're kind of a flat blade, and you have to put them on your face at an angle. Make sure not straight on and not too flat. You have to do it like right at a acute angle, if you remember from school. So you put it at that angle and you just slowly, like in little motions, go downward and then wipe off the hair and keep going in every section where you want to remove hair. This is the method I used for a really long time, actually basically for a year, and I like it. It's really fast and efficient. The only con of it is that you do have to do it a little more often than most methods, just because shaving doesn't get underneath the surface of the skin, so the hairs grow out pretty quickly. I would say depending on your hair type, you would have to do it once every 1 to 2 weeks. The other con that I found from it is that near the sideburn areas I would get breakouts because of like razor burn or something like that, just the hair growing out. It would give me breakouts in that area. But overall, they're really convenient. They're small, so you can get into really small areas wherever you need to remove the hair. So this is great for like a really quick touch-up if you need to remove hair. The last method that I've tried, which is my current method, is Nair face cream. So I did a little demo for you guys of how I use it. So to start, you apply a thick layer on your face all over wherever you want to remove hair. I usually apply it almost everywhere, around the cheek area, the sideburns, the chin, the mustache area, and then a little bit on the forehead, just where my eyebrow hair grows. So practically everywhere except under eyes and my nose. You do have to make sure to apply a pretty thick layer. In this demo, I didn't apply a thick enough layer and I had to go back and apply a little bit more. And then you sit and wait. It says 5 to 10 minutes, but honestly, I wouldn't leave it on for more than 5 unless you have really thick hair. Then I take a paper towel. You can use also a damp regular towel, but this stuff doesn't smell the greatest, so I prefer to use a paper towel just so I don't stink up my towels. And your face will feel so smooth, you will not even believe it. This helps a ton with smooth makeup application because a lot of times the makeup or powder sticks to the hairs and makes them even more visible. I will say, if you have sensitive skin, or honestly anybody, should try it out in a little spot of your skin first just to see how your skin reacts to it, because everybody is different. I usually like to do it before bed so that way I can put on an overnight mask of some kind, like usually a moisturizing mask, and I put it on overnight on my face just to soothe it, because your skin will feel a little sensitive the first night after you do it. The best way I can explain it is it feels a little bit like a sunburn, like if you got a light sunburn on your skin, where your skin feels a little bit more tight. Also, you'll want to avoid if you have like a pimple or something that you popped and it's an open wound, you want to avoid that because it's gonna burn. I'm telling you from experience. I totally forgot to go over how this even removes your hair. Basically, it has some kind of ingredients in this that go in and singe the hair, and it does go a little bit beneath the surface, so it like singes off the hair, and that way when you wipe it off, just the other hair that's basically cut off comes out. So unlike waxing, it doesn't pull it out with the root, but it also does do it a little bit deeper than just shaving. So that way the effects are a little bit longer. I do it about every 2 to 3 weeks. I haven't noticed any ill effects. It hasn't caused me to have breakouts or anything like that I've noticed. So for me, this was a really great option. I also use the moisturizing one. I don't know if that matters, but this is the one with sweet almond oil, and it's for upper lip, chin, and face. So those are some of the methods that I've personally tried. I know there's also like threading out there and laser hair removal, of course. I've never tried threading, but laser hair removal, I feel like maybe someday in the future I would love to do that. So I think I covered everything. If you guys have any other questions, just leave it in the comments below and I will comment back and answer them. And that's all I have for you guys today, so I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!